Hi everyone, let's discuss all about fats today. Fats are not all that bad. A small amount of fat is an essential part of a healthy and a balanced diet. Fat is a source of essential fatty acids which the body cannot make itself, and fats also helps us to absorb vitamins like A, D, and E, which are fat soluble vitamins and can only be absorbed with the help of fats into our body. And any fat that is not used up by body cells are turned into energy, they are converted into body fats. Likewise, any unused carbohydrates or proteins are converted into body fat. And fats are mainly classified into three types. Number one, saturated fats. These are usually solid in room temperature. Most of them are from animal sources, including meat and dairy products, as well as some from plant foods like palm oil and coconut oil. These were considered as a reason for blocking arteries. However, now studies indicate that a percentage of 7% of saturated fats or less than that is okay to take in a daily calorie intake, which is, for example, a spoonful of ghee or a spoonful of coconut oil is okay to include in our everyday diet. However, remember that eating too much of saturated fats in your diet can increase your LDL levels, the bad cholesterol levels in the blood, and can lead to increase in the risk of heart diseases and strokes. Moving on to the next type of fats, which is the unsaturated fats. These are basically found in cooking oils from plants and fishes, like vegetable oil, sunflower oil, your groundnut oil, and they are also found in nuts, seeds, and avocados. They provide essential fatty acids like omega 3. Unsaturated fats they can either be monounsaturated or polyunsaturated. Monounsaturated fats help protect our heart by maintaining levels of good LDL cholesterol levels, and it also reduces the bad cholesterol levels in our blood. Monounsaturated fats, they are found in olive oil, rapeseed oil, and spreads made from these oils, avocados, some nuts, and also some nuts like almonds, Brazil nuts, and peanuts. And moving on to the polyunsaturated fats, they can help lower the level of the bad cholesterol level as well in the blood. There are two main types of polyunsaturated fats, which we are very much aware of, like omega 3 and omega 6. Some types of omega 3 and omega 6 cannot be made by our body, which means that it is very, very essential to include them in our everyday diet. Omega 6 fats are usually found in vegetable oils like rapeseed oils, corn oils, sunflower oils, and some nuts. Omega 3 fats are usually found in oily fishes like sardines, tuna, mackerel, salmon, herring, etc. Most of us, we get enough omega 6 in our diet, but it is recommended to increase the omega 3 intake in our diet. And this can be done by eating 2 portions of fish on a weekly basis. And this should include definitely 1 portion of an oily fish. But if you have challenges consuming this in your diet, you may want to look into supplementation. But when you're looking into supplementation, it is very important to pay attention to the ingredient sources, because with omega 3 in many brands, there are higher chances of lead and mercury poisoning. Please do reach out to me or DM me if you need more information on how you can evaluate your supplementations, or if you're looking for omega 3 supplement recommendations. And if you are a vegetarian sources of omega 3 includes flaxseed oil, linseed oil or rapeseed oil, soya oil, soy-based foods like tofu, walnut, eggs, etc., enriched with omega 3. However, researchers show that vegetable sources of omega 3, they are not as effective when it comes to contributing to the benefits of heart health when compared to the animal based sources of omega 3. Next, moving on to the third and the most important type of fat, which is the trans fats. Most trans fats is formed through an industrial process, which means it's called hydrogenation, adding hydrogen to vegetable oil, which causes the oil to become solid at room temperature. This is called partially hydrogenated oil, and this is less likely to spoil, which is why, and it also has longer shelf life, which is why a lot of restaurants use partially hydrogenated vegetable oils in their deep fryers, because they don't have to change oils or as they do with other oils. And some meat and dairy products have a small amount of naturally occurring trans fats as well. However, there's no clear evidence, or there's no clear studies indicating that if there are any benefits of naturally occurring trans fats occurring in our food. So though the amount of trans fats in food have declined in the recent years because of FDA's ban of trans fats sometime in 2018, they are still found in some products, and such as fried foods or your processed foods or baked foods like cakes, cookies, pies, microwaved popcorns, frozen foods, etc. These are found in some food items because of the certain exceptions in the ban. Okay. And how can you really identify trans fats from your food or from the packets or the foods that you purchase from supermarkets? By reading the labels. If you're looking at words like hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated in the ingredients list, which is usually towards the nutrition facts, as you can see in the image here, so that means that the product contains trans fats. In many cases, you may see that a product contains as little as zero point 0.5 grams of trans fats, but still, all these hidden trans fat can add up very quickly. And especially if you're eating several servings of multiple foods that contains around zero point 0.5 grams of trans food as a serving, which is why it is very essential to pay attention to the label and make sure that you are excluding or decreasing the intake of these kind of foods or ingredients into your diet. So to summarize, if you have to reduce your trans fats, you need to cut down or completely eliminate processed foods and fried fast foods from your diet. And the next thing, moving on to food labels, low fat food labels. I know we all have the tendency to load our trolleys with when we look at things like low fat and low sugar and all these things, right? But for a product to be labeled as lower fat or reduced fat or light or low sugar, it must contain at least 30% of less fat than the original version of the product. But if you are looking at a product that is naturally very high in fat, the lower fat version of the product will still maybe high fat food. For example, if you're looking at a low fat mayonnaise, it can contain 30% less fat compared to a standard version, but this is still very high in fat. And also, when it comes to low fat foods, manufacturers add a lot of sugars because the product doesn't taste good when it is low fat. So they add a lot of additives to it, a lot of sugar to it to make it tasty. So a low fat food does not necessarily mean it is low in calories as well. So to be sure of the fat and the energy content in your product, please do not look at the front of the product, but pay attention to the back of the product where you have the nutrition label on the product. Okay. So if you wish to reduce your risk of heart disease, it is best to reduce your overall fat intake and also swap any saturated fats for unsaturated fats. So with that, I hope that was helpful, and thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you.